Good morning. This is H coming at you again with a tutorial on Autodesk Inventor 2023. I'll get my words out eventually at some point. So we're looking at the SolidWorks education lessons, and this is going to be the video for lesson 7 and lesson 8. So again, we're going to just follow the same kind of pattern, looking at the drawing, selecting what viewpoint to what perspective to start drawing our sketch from, and then obviously doing the extrusions that are necessary to complete the 3D part model. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our drawing. This is our lesson 7 of what we're doing here. And lesson 7 is a bit of an interesting one. It has kind of two fronts to it. And what I mean by that is if we look at our front view, like our front view is technically just this section here, but there's also visible, because it's just an open kind of shelf, this back area here. So what's interesting about this is obviously the front view is going to be the view I choose to draw because it has these circles in the center point and we can draw this. But what's going to be interesting is we're actually going to ignore this piece right here. We're going to just basically draw the rectangle that's here for the shelf, and then this back, and then we'll draw this in after we've completed all that. Okay, so there's a reason for that, and really it's just to keep it simple, keep it as few steps as we can. And so we're going to do that by kind of drawing the front view, but again, kind of ignoring at least this section that has this fillet here. We'll ignore it for now. Okay, and because it has kind of two fronts to it. So let me get my my drawing here so I can look at this and look at it and reference it as I draw. We're on the XY plane. Again, we're using a millimeter part file, so that way we can make all these things, 10, 20, 30, 40, everything is a multiple of 10 and in millimeters. So there's our 20 and 40 millimeter circles that are there. Now we're also going to come over this direction here. This is going to be 20. Again, that's from the midpoint of the circle. And then we're going to come down 20. We're coming over just to the edge of it. So the 60 millimeters is to the edge, and then this will come up and connect to that circle there. So as we dimension this, this should be 20 as well. Now we got ourselves a sketch here. Let's see oh, maybe it needs to be tangent. I'm missing one dimension here, so I'm just wondering. There it is, fully constrained tangency on that line, and we should be good. Now we're going to also trim out the edges that we don't need of this circle, right? Because we can delete these edges, these curves that are here. And now we need to draw in our rectangle that needs to be going all the way across here. And these green dots mean I'm at the center point of this 20 millimeter line, which is exactly where it needs to be. The only dimension that would really be needed on this is the dimension here, this 10. But if that green dot is on the middle of this line here, that dimension's already in and I'm fully constrained. So I'm good. A little shortcut, the green dot shortcut. So if I finish this sketch, this is the kind of the front view I was talking about with respect to ignoring the kind of feature at the front, at the forefront feature with a little fillet there. So this extrusion here, this is going to be 40. We'll add our little plus sign. And this extrusion here, this is just going to be 10. And that's all that is, just like that. Now, what's interesting about this part here, now we can look at, okay, we need to create this here. So we could draw it from on the top and extrude up and then fill it, or we could draw it from the side here, right here on this plane, and draw it above the material that it's going to be on, and we'll just extrude it once and be done. So this sketch is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to actually be 20 millimeters tall. This line is going to be 10 millimeters this way. Then it's going to come down 10 millimeters and over 10 millimeters, and back down to the line, 10 millimeters, and then connect to the original position. Now, these yellow lines, we'll take a minute to look at these. These yellow lines here, these are Inventor projecting the edges, like this edge of this 3D material was projected to the sketch because Inventor thought that that would be helpful. It is not. So we can actually delete those lines, those yellow lines in there, and be much better off. So here's the sketch I was talking about. It's on this front, it's made by selecting this front surface with our 2D sketch, but we're drawing just in the air, right? And now we need to fill it this right here. We need to fill it this 10 here to here, because it's going to have that kind of curved edge there. And I'll finish that sketch because that's completed. And now when we extrude this, we just want to make sure we extrude it in the proper direction. Like we just want to shift that direction for the behavior. We can manipulate that and say, no, we're going to go that other direction on the Z-axis. That way, the material's on top of the existing material and it fuses together like that with that join feature that is there in Inventor. And that is lesson 7. Again, very quick method to do that. 3 extrusions, pretty simple, pretty simply. It's just 2 sketches, and we got ourselves a finished part for lesson 7. It looks good, and we'll move on to the next one now. I'll just go there. We'll open up a new standard part file, and we're going to lesson 8. Now, lesson 8 is another interesting one. So lesson 8. We could do this by either looking at the top view, which is what I'm going to choose, right? Or the right side view, actually, not this front view, this right side view, because it's going to include the circles that are here. And so, but either one we choose, we're going to draw one circle and have this other arch done, but we'll have to fill it and cut holes out no matter which one we choose. So let's just choose the top for now and draw this top for now, and then we'll do the filleting and cutting out of the circle that is there in the side here. So no matter which one we choose, it's going to pretty much be the same number of steps, because we can't seem to include the hole and the curves on both of these sections because they're horizontal and vertical. Right, they're on 2 different axes, so we have kind of 2 different sketches that we have to draw. So that's what we're going to end up doing. So lesson 8, we're going to start with the top view. So there's our top plane of X, Z, and we're going to draw our circle at 0, 0 at our origin point, or 20 diameter. And a 40 diameter. Again, this 40 diameter circle, we're not going to be using the entire thing. We're going to be trimming it out, but that's okay. And then this line here, this is going to be 40. This line here is also going to be 40 because of the diameter of the circle. And then it just connects just like that. Okay. And so we have our 40, and it connects like that. Now we're looking at, okay, we can trim this out. We don't need that. And now we need to look at what can we make on the interior of this perimeter for the profiles that are here. So there's actually going to be a really easy one we can make here, and that's just going to be a rectangle. We're going to just chop this off. We're going to make sure it's 10 millimeters away from the other line. There it is. Make sure it's a straight line. Maybe no, that's not the case. All right, we'll have to look at it from another angle and see if we have what's happening with this line and why it's dimension needed still. So this 10 that's here, this 10 that's here is the space, the distance here of this rectangle. So this is going to be a profile that we extrude. We're also going to do it again. We're going to make another one right here. Now this should also be 10, but we'll verify it because of the green dots that were there. Yes, it is 10, and we're looking good. We're fully constrained now. It all worked itself out. So we have some profiles to extrude. This is going to be 10. This is going to be 20. This is going to be 40 right here, as we're looking at kind of a stair step effect with this part file. So this is 10, do our plus sign. This will be 20, do our plus sign. This will be 40, and that's the last one, so we'll just hit enter. And now we're looking at what we need to do here. We need to cut a circle out of these 2 extrusions. So we're going to start here with that, but we also need to fillet this here. So actually I'm going to do the fillet first. This and this are getting filleted the same amount. The radius is 20 to make that just curved all the way across the top. There you go. So now let's start a sketch here actually, because there's a little bit of a cheat because we have this arch already here. This curve's already here. We can find the center point of this arch, right? So if I go to the circle tool and go to this arch and just highlight it for a minute and come down here, it's going to put a point right there that I can click on and expand, make that 20. Now we can delete this or make this yellow line of construction line. We can delete it either, we can just delete it as well. But this circle here, as I finish the sketch, this circle is there. I just can't see it through this extrusion of material. It's kind of funky, it's kind of weird, but it was an easy way to find the middle of this curve of where this circle needs to go, because according to the drawing that I'm looking at, that's exactly what needs to happen. The center points are shared. So we did that very easily by using this flat surface as our sketching surface and putting our circle here. So we got our circle there. I'm going to extrude now. Now we need to cut. We need to make sure we're going symmetrically. We need both directions through all the material, and then we'll hit OK. And there it is. That's our final step for this part file. So 4 extrusions and a fillet. It's not too bad. It would definitely had a lot of features here and a lot of complexity because of the curvature of these fillets on both the y-axis and the x-axis. So we definitely wanted to make sure that those were made. So we had to use different sketches for that. But that was lesson 8. Thank you for joining me for lesson 7 and 8. The next video, we'll just continue on, go in lessons 9 and lessons 10. Have a great day.